Bom dia! Wow, yeah, that's a bit scary. Usually you try to do that because you don't speak the language and people just don't answer, so you feel really alone. I know that in pastéis de nata. You can see that. So, really I'm addicted to it, that's awful. So we're going to talk about this, profitability. Because in 2022, we were touched by the worst curse ever, right? So many companies were destroyed because they discovered that actually they had to make money, right? So I was a founder, a long time ago now. And when you're a founder, you invest your own money, right? So you know the cost of money, if that makes sense. So I was really surprised. I tried to talk with plenty of product leaders, say, okay, what do you do? And what were you doing at that moment to actually fight that curse? So they told me, yeah, but no, we were talking with business people and say, yeah, you need to think in terms of problems and not solutions, and then discovery and shape up and blah, 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 which is actually trying to fight this curse of profitability with a product-splaining spell. So it's just like mansplaining, right, but with products. So you imagine the business people that have targets, right? They talk about pipelines and conversion, whatever. And what you usually say is, yeah, it's complicated. So you're going to explain all the things about story points, and they don't get it. And when they actually ask the only thing that they're interested in, which is, this feature, it's going to be released when? And what you say, it's complicated. So it sounds like excuses, right? But we know it's complicated. We feel that they don't understand that part. And for them, asking for a feature is free, right? They just push something in whatever backlog or pitches, business cases that are, we all know that, completely dishonest. Who has ever seen a real honest business case? Really?
Yeah, I built them.
Oh, that's what you build them. Okay, that's the explanation. And the thing is that they don't get it because they don't have what we call skin in the game. So who knows this expression? It's an English one? Okay. So for those who don't know it, it's kind of a fable when you have a chicken going to talk to the pig, and the chicken say, hey, let's have bacon and eggs. But the thing is that for a chicken, that's pretty easy, right? You do 1 egg per day. It's not a part of you. But for the pig, it's kind of more complicated, right? So in the story, we would be the pig, and they would be the chicken. This is the only mammalian would be happy to be called a pig. Eh? But are we really the pigs? Not working anymore. So are we really the pig? This is the right question that we need to ask. Do we behave like we are the pigs? So I like to call for someone which is really important to me. It's one of the greatest thinkers of the 20th and 21st century. It's not Marty Kagan, it's not Melissa Perry, it's Jean-Claude Van Damme. So, not working anymore. Jean-Claude invented something, which is the double impact. It's a real one, actually. It was an ad for Volvo. He really did it, because that's Jean-Claude, right? He's not a human being, he's an ocean. He's gas. But it inspired a law of the product organization. Sorry for the photos. The reason of the product org is to create ROI for the company and for the user at the same time. So the thing is that you say, yeah, that's absolutely obvious. But do we really respect that law? Business people, they don't, okay? Full speed on the company. But us, we spend our time talking about the user, about being user-centric, right? Or data-driven. And that was great when, right at the beginning, we were fighting against opinion-driven decisions. But you cannot be user-centric. Not all users are good users. And of course, we know that doing whatever a user wants will actually lead you to bankruptcy. That's real, right? That's supposedly we should do that, but I think we should not. Second thing, there's one mind-blind spot of product people. Launching versus landing. So, imagine for one moment, you're working for SpaceX. Radhika was talking about religion. I think Elon Musk is a religion. He's a god. Might not be the good god, right? I don't know if any of you watch Chaos on Netflix. Okay, just like Zeus, right? But imagine just launching the rocket, and afterwards, oh, well done, guys. Let's leave it. That's what we do, right? We don't really commit on targets, how many customers we reach, discoverability of a feature. What was the real revenue getting out of that launch? We never do that. Our roadmaps stop when things are delivered. You never have a period when we're going to take a look at the market and see what results are actually getting out of that. So, we're not pigs. I know you're disappointed, we're not pigs. We might be chicken too. So how to get skin in the game? All of us, not product people, but product and business. So what we're going to see, and there are 3 principles that I found, right? I'm not going to say these are the principles that you should apply in your company. It worked for me, okay? There's no framework that's going to be a silver bullet, ever, okay? So if you say, okay, that doesn't apply to my company, please reach me, but I love to update those slides, right? So the first one is the investment principle. The fact that we are actually investors. That's what we do. The second thing is a capping principle. You don't just put all the money that you have on one thing for an unlimited moment of time. And the third part is the portfolio. Don't put all your eggs on the same basket. Okay? Let's deep dive on those 3. Just waiting for the pictures. Don't take a picture of me, please. Because pastéis de nata, right? So the investment principle. Let's go back to what we do. What do we exist at all? We exist to shift technology from center of cost to a center of profit. Right. This is what product management is about. Product design, product marketing, how do we call it, product ops. This is what we were kind of invented. People looking at Netflix, at eBay, or all those companies were able to create money kind of out of thin air, right? Out of software. That's great, but what does that mean for one team? The goal of a team is to invest, so it's got to turn some time, and this time is actually money. The cost of one team for a full year is 1 million euros. 1 year, 1 million euros. So go back to the office and tell that to any product manager, product designer, or engineer saying you've been given 1 million euros for a full year. Little bit of responsibility. What you're going to do with it? Changes a little bit how people say their role, right? And you don't transform that into code or features or impact, but into ROI, right? And I say right ROI because it needs to be connected with your strategy. So who knows the RISE framework? Okay. So reach, impact, confidence, divided by effort. You know that it was invented by Intercom. They actually never used it. Because it's too solution-oriented. And I absolutely don't care as a CPO if you go back to me and say, I have a feature which score is 33 and the other one is 32.5, what should I do? I really don't care about that. Okay. And actually, the marketing team chose to keep that article on the blog because it has the highest reach of all. So we can lie in marketing and be honest in being product. That's up to you. People from marketing here? Okay. Sorry about that. I hate marketing people. Sorry, André. So the thing is, you need to choose the right ROI. You need to take responsibility, because as a CPO, I had 26 teams, so I had 26 million euros to invest. I'm giving you 1 million euro and expect you to transform that time, ergo that money, into something. And that's all you're responsible of, transforming that time, ergo money, into churn reduction, new revenue, net margin, etc. But that's on you. Now, the thing is that if you don't change how your stakeholders behave, you can do whatever you want on your side. It's going to be still product explaining. So let's transform them into co-investors. So usually, when I have people from the business that were coming to me saying, hey, we need that feature because this client or this new prospect or whatever needs that, my first question would be, okay, let's imagine that we invest 6 weeks on your thing. So let's say 200,000 euros. When will I have my payback in terms of net margin? I'm investing a lot of money, right? So how can you be sure that in 1 year we will have that amount as a net margin? Else it's not worth doing it. Usually they go back and they never come back, actually, to me. But the thing that they need to put money on the table, because I'm investing my money, I'm investing my budget, right? So what do you put on the table? And usually they're just like, I don't know, a startup asking to a VC for some money, but they don't want to invest a little of money because they don't want to take the risk. So you need to ask them, say, what do you put on the table? So they have input, right? So not business cases, pitches, the assumption that they have, some cases, right? What they have is customers, they have a network, right? They are business people, so I want access to customers. I want names. I want to get to them and check things. And they say, no, we want to protect whatever relationship that we have with our customers, so we cannot talk to them. So no problem, so I'm not going to invest. You're not ready to take a risk with us? No problem. You have plenty of other opportunities to invest. Then testing. I want them to help us test. Because I'm a product guy, right? I'm good on stage, but I'm not a good seller. You're a sales guy or sales girl. You will be better than me. So let's make it. You actually test the pitch. And I'm here, and we're going to learn together. Then all the go customer and go-to-market part. Of course, we can discuss about how we're going to make it discoverable, but you usually don't have access to the CRM. So you need people in the CRM team, and you need sales enablement, and you need salespeople in B2B to actually tell the others, that's great, you should actually push it to these kind of customers. Because this is what they do, they're good at it. And the last thing, that might be the most important one, co-responsibility for success and failures. Because when you do a product review, and you're going to talk about the results that you had in terms of metrics and usage, whatever, and you're alone here and you're going to talk about the failure, they're never here with you, right? It didn't work, no problem. We're going to sell, no, not going to sell it at all. That's what Mark Ian was talking about. They're going to jump on a new opportunity and ask for a new thing because zero cost for them, no problem. So they need to commit to results. After 1 month, after 3 months, how many customers will you have reached? What is the percentage of people that would be qualified? And how many of them will you have converted? Because this is your responsibility as business people. You need to convert. If you're not there, well, let's do product-led growth, pure product-led growth, and ditch you and fire you. So you need to commit. So we are all investors. We all take risks. That's the first part. Second part, capping. How many of you have read Shape Up? The Basecamp thing, right? Very specific to a company with 80 people and 3 founders which are actually dictators, but that's another reason. I had Ryan Singer on stage and he was really behaving like an a-hole, to be honest. But the thing that they took back something which directly linked to investment, which is appetite and ambition. No, nothing has exactly the same value. That's it. but we have to compare them. That's what we do when we consider opportunities. So you need an ambition and appetite. You need to say, okay, considering the budget that we have, which is 1 million euros, how much are we ready to invest on that opportunity, knowing what we know today? And this is it. This is your runway. So if you work in a startup, you know what runway is. If you have no money, that's it, finished. You cannot ask for a bridge, right? Your runway is your runway. So as money is not free anymore, you have 6 weeks, not more than this. So it's getting back to what Jai was talking about, perimeter versus time, right? And it applies to all that we do. So as a team, if you want to spend 3 weeks on discovery, that's on you. It means that if the appetite was 8 weeks, you have 5 weeks to deliver something. And of course, don't deliver it at the end of the 5 weeks, okay, iterations. But still, it's up to you. You cannot have 100% confidence. So how much are you going to take in terms of risks? That's up to you. Who is responsible of that? That's the trio. So everybody knows the trio thing? The only reason why that exists, that Venn diagram that we use so much for doing product explaining, by the way, is about risks. These are 3 areas of risk. Marty would say there's viability and value or whatever. They're the same to me. The idea is that these 3 people are leading when it comes to assessing those risks, and what we need to do to actually mitigate them is the responsibility of the trio. So it's not, okay, I don't know what the engineering is doing, I don't know why the designer wants to have more customer interviews. Personally, if I asked any member of those 3 why they chose to do this kind of experiment and not the one, they should all know, because it's a common decision that they need to make, considering the budget that they have. Now, portfolio, not portfolio of teams, portfolio of opportunities for one team, which is slightly different from what Becky was talking about. Not all your eggs on the same basket. So let's imagine a restaurant product. So I was CPO of the Fork, so I was working in the restaurant industry, so that would be real examples. You have plenty of investments that you could place here. So that's just an example. You can use any scale that you want. Mine was ROI versus risk, or confidence, how you frame it. Plenty of those that's going to be low risk, low revenue. So migrating to Braze for marketing. You'd say low value, yes, but they need that for operating. Okay, let's get 20, 25% of our time on these kind of things, or small optimizations, no risk. But maybe not a lot of money getting out of it, but that's secured, right? That's what you do with your own money. You got a little bit of your money on things where you don't have risk of losing it. Then 2/3 of what you could say are really product initiatives. From mid to high risk, things that you know should work, but there's a risk of failing. But on the whole, yeah, okay, this investment is a little bit worse than what I expected. Maybe another one would be better than what I expected. That's okay. And then one little bit, which are actually bets. I hate when people talk about bets when it comes to anything on the roadmap. That's not true. Migrating to Braze is not a bet. Doing some optimization of a growth funnel is not a bet. If you know that's going to work and you're going to do just an A/B testing at the end, that's not a bet, right? The bet is something that you consider could completely fail. You will actually lose that money, but you're okay with it because it could open new futures for the company. So for us, that was using AR on the menu, when actually I could, of course, translate it, but give you an eco score or give you calories about one specific dish. Will it actually change how people consider the restaurants? I don't know, but it was worth testing. If you don't do that, you're going to die. You're a big company, and you think, okay, we're very mature, etc. You don't put bets, you're going to be disrupted. On the other side, if you're a startup, everything is a bet. That's the problem. So this portfolio may vary on the market conditions, of course, the end of the free money, No money, maybe less risks. Or AI arrives, so you need to do a bet on it. You got to change things. So it's that very dynamic, right? Second thing is really the team. Some teams are more platform teams, more reliability, security, etc., right? So maybe less bets, but that's okay. Then your maturity. You're a big company versus, I would say, pre-PMF, pre-seed. Everything is a bet. You don't know. You're going to pivot. So, of course, you never do really product things. You're going to do bets and bets and bets. Then, if you work in the studio, you're in a big company, and the brands or the business units are actually bringing the money. It's not yours. So you cannot say, I act like an owner, right? You can actually act as a financial advisor. So you come to me with this specific ask and say, I put, 200, 300K on the table. That's okay. These are the risks that we consider as a trio. So you think you're going to make 1 million, but considering that we have a confidence of 20%, there's an 80% discount. So there's a large risk that you're not going to make 1 million, but only 200K. My advice would be to spend a little bit of time knowing more about it so you lessen the risk and the risk of failure, right? But if you want to go on with it, you go on with it. I've done my thing. I'm your advisor. And then it's your money. But don't come whining because at the end of the budget that you had, it's not ready yet, or it didn't give the results that you had in mind because it's been capped. I don't have more money, more time for you. And the last one might be the most important one. It's about you. We are not equal when it comes to our tolerance to risk. Some people are okay starting from scratch and doing bets and bets and bets and bets. And sometimes you get older and you start to have a loan and little small things that are very costly with called children. I don't understand why people are doing this kind of things, but that's on me. I have a cat that is very cheap, but that's okay. So you don't want to take the same level of risk. That's okay, right? But people in your teams, when you're going to go back to the office and see all these amazing speakers on stage, think not only of the model and what we could do and the product op model, whatever. Think about, okay, the person in front of me, what is their risk tolerance? Some people are not made to take a lot of risk. Sometimes it's just a moment in their life. So I've seen too many people getting burnt out because they were not self-aware when it came to their own risk tolerance and the pressure that they could get on their shoulders. So just please think about it. Think about it if you're a manager. Think about it when it comes to your colleagues. Not everybody is made equal, and it can change with time. So if you follow these three principles, you should have stakeholders and product teams really acting responsibly with the resources that you have. You should, at one moment, have people thinking about, okay, but if that doesn't work, what happens? So I cannot commit on the full year. Let's see what we're going to do now and next, and afterwards we're going to see. That's what happened to me, business people thinking in those terms. We're not talking about roadmaps. We're talking about, okay, we'll see what happens, because we don't know what's going to be the results on the business side. And the VC, because we're going to learn how to consider not things in terms of dreams, but really in terms of ROI. If you follow those three principles, it worked for me, and I hope it worked for you, you might reach the double impact. Thank you.